WFYI podcast brought to you by Bloomington, Indiana, an American college town offering food and drink, college sports, outdoor activities, live music, cool art, and good times daily. Everyone is welcome in Bloomington. More information at visitbloomington.com.
WFYI podcast brought to you by 45, presenting 30 years of music by the Mavericks on Saturday, August 17th at Rock the Ruins at Holiday Park. Ticket information at rocktheruins.com.
This is WFYI News Now. It's March 7th, and I'm Darian Benson. On today's show, advice for older adults and retirees on filing taxes. Then a few updates from the State House as the legislative session starts to wrap up, including a bill that would bring significant changes to the state's public access counselor role, a bill on revenge pornography, and a bill that would mean some teenagers can work more in the summer, which some worry could hurt their education.
Working for minimum wage, more so than being in school, isn't the path.
Those stories coming up, but first, the operations of Change Healthcare are still on hold as it works through a cyber attack that happened more than 10 days ago. The healthcare tech company plays a big role in how hospitals and healthcare providers bill insurance and get paid. The American Hospital Association says this cyber attack is the most serious attack against the healthcare sector ever. Columbus Regional in Indiana is one of the health systems feeling that impact. The hospital relies on Change Healthcare for nearly 70% of their Medicaid and Medicare reimbursements. Kelsey DeClue is the communications director there. She says the health system is relying on reserves and investments now.
We're not able to send out bills. We're not getting any back. That's going to keep continuing if and when services come back because there'll be a backlog there.
Right now, the health system has a delay of $50 to $60 million, according to its chief financial officer. On Tuesday, the federal government proposed certain flexibilities and expedited payments to help hospitals in the meantime. And how can older adults and retirees efficiently and effectively file taxes in Indiana? Some of our listeners inspired this question, and as Indiana Public Broadcasting's Violet Comberweilen reports, there are several resources that might help.
Stacey Engel is a spokesperson for the IRS. She says there are several online services on the IRS website, including free file options. She says in-person assistance includes volunteer income tax assistance, or VITA clinics, and tax counseling for elderly, or TCE sites.
They can walk in there, and tax counseling for elderly actually focus on folks that are over 60 with retirement, Social Security. So they're more focused with those guys, and they can get their tax returns prepared for free.
Engel says tax counselors at these clinics can also help guide older adults on the taxability of their Social Security income and answer pension and IRA questions. She says the IRS website has information on VITA clinics and TCE sites throughout the state. For Indiana Public Broadcasting, I'm Violet Comberweilen.
Indiana's public access counselor could see a significant shift in duties under a House bill that now heads to Governor Eric Holcomb's desk. The counselor provides advice and assistance on the public access laws. They also issue advisory opinions related to those laws. The bill would confine interpretations to the plain text of the law when issuing opinions. Republican Senator Scott Baldwin supports it.
I think all we're trying to do here is provide some direction so that he has, the ability to do his job without having to take major leaps and bounds on interpreting gaps in code.
Jerry Lenozga, an associate professor of journalism at Indiana University, told WFYI that if the bill becomes a law, it could create a chilling effect on what the office can do. Public access laws are meant to be interpreted broadly and could require the counselor not to do something that the laws explicitly tell him to do, he said. The current head of the office, Luke Britt, is the state's longest-serving public access counselor. And Indiana is expanding its revenge pornography law to include digitally generated or altered images. The House unanimously voted to send the measure to the governor on Tuesday. The revenge porn law, created in 2019, makes it a crime to share an intimate image or video if the person sharing it knows the person in the image didn't consent to it being shared. Prosecutors say they're seeing a rise in images or videos that use artificial intelligence to either take someone's face or put it on another person's body or nudify an image. Essentially, take a photo or video of someone who's clothed and depict them naked. Representative Sharon Nagel says a change in the Senate to her bill clarifies that the statute will not apply to news outlets, internet providers, or cloud service providers who simply provide access to such content and are not involved in creating it.
We're going after the person that's actually creating this porn, not the medium that actually gets placed on.
Committing the crime will be a Class A misdemeanor, which comes with up to a year of jail time and a fine of up to $5,000. And for our final story today, some teenagers will be able to work later into the evening during the summer and possibly during the start of the school year under legislation headed to the governor's desk. Indiana Public Broadcasting's Kirsten Adair reports lawmakers who oppose the bill worry it will negatively impact students' educations.
The bill allows 14 and 15-year-olds to work until 9 p.m. on weeknights between June 1st and Labor Day, 2 hours later than current law. The bill also removes regulations that prevent minors from working more than 9 hours a day and more than 40 hours during a school week. Some lawmakers expressed concern that minors could more easily be taken advantage of by employers. Senator Rodney Pohl says the bill prioritizes employer needs over the needs of students.
Working for minimum wage, more so than being in school, isn't the path.
Lawmakers in favor of the bill say it aligns Indiana's child labor laws with federal requirements and gives students more opportunities. They say students can learn time management from balancing school, work, and extracurriculars. For Indiana Public Broadcasting, I'm Kirsten Adair.
That's all for today's episode of WFYI News Now. Our podcast is produced by the following people who live in your community: Aubriana Heron, Drew Dodlin, Kendall Antron, who composed the music for this podcast, and me, Darian Benson. Our news director is Sarah Neal Estes. If you like today's episode, remember to subscribe and share, and follow WFYI on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube to check in on our newsroom throughout the day. Thanks for listening. We'll be back tomorrow.